Hold on one second. We're about to get to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen. This don't make no sense whatsoever. Welcome to the Dark Waters channel. I'm going to go ahead and apologize to you guys up front because this video is going to be a little bit shorter than the video that was in the process of recording before this computer decided that it was going to crash. We were 45 minutes in and I figured, okay, I'll be able to recover it. And no, it is not there, but that is okay. I will just make the point a lot better than I made it the first time. And here's the point that I want to make to you. There is a movement of agitation and aggravation going into the conservative party. The conservative body is what I would call it. And it's this agitation and this division that's being personified by what people believe is them not in getting results. But you are getting results. You are seeing significant results. It's just that your enemy is continuing on their path. They're continuing to pursue wickedness, regardless of what you say or what you do, or no matter how many times they've been defeated. So it's aggravating. It's frustrating. You want to see them go away. You want to see them stop talking. You want this over with. But that's not how it works. Nope. That is not how the game works. No different if you played any sports games. You could be blowing a team out. Let's say you're playing baseball, 9 innings, third inning, you're up 12-2. Now, the chances of them coming back and winning is slim to none. But you still got to play all the endings. You got to play till the last ball and strike is called, until the last out, until the last ending. And that's where we are right now in America. We have an enemy who's facing defeat. In many ways, they have been defeated, but they're still fighting back. And what they're counting on is their rebellion, their craziness, their constant yibber-yabbing and talking and running their mouth, agitating you and aggravating you and dividing the base that is the conservative movement. They counted on the murder of Charlie Kirk, dividing everybody. They're counting on you to fail. That's it. They're counting on you to give up. They're counting on you to fail. They're counting on you to be tired and throw your hands up. But you're getting victories. War Secretary Hegseth responds to leaked memo of nationwide National Guard response force established by April 2026. Confirmed administration ready to mobilize National Guard when necessary. When necessary. You may be saying to yourself, man, I don't understand why these Antifa riders is getting away with what they're getting away with, and they got this and they got that, and this is going on. It's because you're in a war. And inside of your army, inside of your high lieutenants and officers, there are traitors that have not been completely washed away. This leaked memo is giving you an indication that there are traitors there amongst the midst of you. And so they know what can and can't be done. So they know how fast things can be deployed. Then you add in the fact that there's lawfare with people just taking them to court, just to take them to court. I'll say this, when the time comes, when all the crap has been vetted out, when everything has been moved, when there's nothing else the Democrat Party can say, there's no judge that can come out and say, well, you can't do this, I filed an injunction. You're going to see some furniture move. Yeah, you're going to see some furniture move, ladies and gentlemen. But I want you to be encouraged. Do not be overwhelmed. That is a strategy of the enemy.
Sir, a memo circulating on social media details the establishment of a National Guard response force that's going to be trained in crowd control and civil unrest and deployed in all 50 states by April of 2026. Can you verify the authenticity of that memo, and do you have any more information on the operations?
I'm not going to answer particulars on something that may be in the planning process, but we definitely do have multiple layers of National Guard response forces, whether it's in each state, whether it's regionally, whether it's Title 10 active duty, whether it's Washington, D.C. We've got a lot of different ways that constitutionally and legally we can employ Title 10 and Title 32 forces, and we will do so when necessary.
Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. And of course you got the opportunity to do it at will. But the enemy knows what's coming. And that's the thing that's most glaringly obvious to me at this point in time. They know what's coming down the pipeline, but they're still resisting. They're still fighting. They're still trying. And I'll give you guys an example of this. Where's the picture of this dude? Here he is. Kilmore Abrega Garcia. Can we just recount the Kilmore Abrega Garcia scandal? Because it's pretty much over. And I want you to remember how you felt. Think back, imagine how you go back in time, imagine how you felt at that point in time when Democrats were celebrating Kilmore Abrega Garcia, when they were flying to El Salvador to meet with Kilmore Abrega Garcia, when they were saying that we need to defend him, when they were doing more for Kilmore Abrega Garcia than he had done for any American citizen, any of their constituents. In that moment in time, everybody was aggravated and they was frustrated. In that moment in time, everybody was like, oh my God, I can't believe why we can't deal with this. Kilmore Abrega Garcia, oh my goodness, Martin, no, Martin, oh my goodness, Martin. Remember that? I remember it. Where's the Kilmore Abrega Garcia thing now? Kilmore Abrega Garcia is getting ready to get deported one way or the other. But why did it play out like that? Why did it need to play out like that? And this is the point I'm trying to make to everybody. Some things need to play out in front of public's eye. What was the result of Kilmore Abrega Garcia being fought for by the Democratic Party? And what did their constituents see? He was the number one impetus for the Democrat constituents saying, y'all fight more for illegal aliens than y'all fight for your own citizens. There was a whole layer of Democrats that switched to become Republicans because of Kilmore Abrega Garcia, because we allowed them to sit back and defend Kilmore Abrega Garcia. And so what I'm saying to you is this, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine for a second, we all on the same team. And I'm the boss. I'm the general, right? And I say, hey guys, here go my plan. This is what I'm gonna do. What you gonna do, Mr. Boss? We got this big old stadium. We all gonna sit in the stands of this big old stadium. And we all got rifles and spears and rocks that we can throw. So everybody fill up the stadium. And then I have a construction crew build a gigantic wall that nobody can see that there's a stadium behind it. And then I put 5 different doorways and I turn off the lights in the stadium. I say, okay, guys, the full-on attack is not going to happen until all of these people, all of our enemies come into the stadium. And so the first group comes in. And they apprehensive. They don't know what's going on. They bold. We go in there, we going to get them, blah, 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 blah. They come in the stadium and lights stay off. They wander around. They can't really tell what's going on. They turn on their flashlights. They can't see you. They just see this gigantic open space. All this opportunity. And they're like, yeah, we invaded them and we got them. And then they go back and they tell some more. And then they go back and tell some more. And you got 5 doors for people pouring in. Just coming in one by 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 one. And the light's still off, and you still sitting there. You got night vision goggles. You can see them coming in one by one by one by one. And the more come in, the more bold they get. The more come in, the more boastful they get. The more come in, the more violent they get. The more crazy they get. They're screaming and going crazy and having a big party and a meeting. But the lights is off, and they can't see. And then one day, the doors close behind them. And the lights come on. And that's what's happening to the Democratic Party right now. That's what's happening to the wicked people in America right now. In fact, that's what's happening to the wicked people all over the world right now. That's what's happening. The issue is we are seeing the nuances of the happenings. If we can go fast forward into the future when the whole warfare was done and sit and read a history book, you get the highlights of what happened, but you wouldn't live in the moment. You're living the history. You're living in the moment. So it's a little bit agitating. It's a little bit aggravating because you're living in the moment. Like these guys are pushing it to the limit. They went full Kenny Loggins, which Kenny Loggins, I want you to know, I'm damn disappointed in you, Kenny Loggins. And I want you to know I have an album of you that I was going to put on my wall of albums. Your ass is not going on my wall, Kenny Loggins. I just want you to know. I want you to know, Kenny Loggins, you is not going on my wall. Your ass don't know nothing about the danger zone. I just want you to know. You may never see this, but you ain't going on my wall. And any of the rest of you artists that get that acting crazy, I'm going to take y'all off my wall of fame. My wall of fame ain't back here, it's in the office. You've been watching me see my wall of fame. Sidebar note, that's all that was. Hold on, let me keep going. Now, I think this is going to be funny right here. This one right here is going to be funny. Now, Mandami is leading in the polls for New York City. And New York City itself was being ruled and reigned by certain demographics of people. And they ran New York. The elites of New York ran New York, right? So now all these elitists who gave into all this foolishness, and this is a part of them coming into the door, into the dark room. The whole city of New York may have to come inside in order to get this understanding. They may have to come on in our room. Come on in my room. I said, come on in my room. They might all have to come in the room, ladies and gentlemen, to get this point. And that's what you see happening in New York. Remember, Eric Adams was, well, we're going to do what we got to do to protect our illegal aliens. And, we're going to do what we need to do to take care of our constituents. And then Eric Adams came on in the room and the lights came on. He said, oh, hell, what the hell going on? And Eric Adams changed his tune. He changed his tune. And so now it's them against the communists. But I'm going to tell you what I think. I think New York is going to be turned over to the communists. And I think that all the people of power in New York with all their little money who want to play all the liberal games because they were liberals, they're going to get what they paid for. And I think it's going to be God's divine judgment that they get it. Muslims run up and down the street, raping, pillaging, Sharia law in their schools. Yeah, you're going to get what you deserve. You're going to get what you wanted. But here's Eric Adams.
A little breaking news. You got New York City Mayor Eric Adams speaking now alongside independent mayoral candidate Andrew Cuomo. Watch.
Immigrant families are under attack in the city. Working class people are under attack. African Americans and Hispanic families are under attack. Italian and Irish families are under attack. When you give the finger to a statue that's representative to the Italian community, you're saying you don't give a damn. When you tell Jewish residents that you need globalized intifada, you're saying you don't care. When you go after communities and state that you're going to raise their taxes because of their ethnicity, that's what black and brown communities are going through right now. Taxes are higher in their community because of what was done. We're not going backwards, folks. And so this was a grueling time. And yes, am I angry that I'm not the one taking down Zoran, the socialist and the communist? You're darn right I am. But you know what? The city means more to me than anything. And it is time for us as a family to come together. New York can't be Europe, folks. I don't know what is wrong with people. You see what's playing out in other countries because of Islamic extremism. Not Muslims. Let's not mix this up. But those Islamic extremisms that are burning churches in Nigeria, that are destroying communities in Germany, that have taken over the logical thinkings. And that's what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for the family of New York. That's why I'm here today to endorse Andrew Cuomo to be part of this fight. And I'm going to give it my all these next few days to make sure that black and brown communities specifically who have believed there's nothing at stake in this election for them, it is. When you empty out 3,000 people in Rikers Island who preyed on these communities, that's at stake. When you state that you don't believe small property owners have the right to charge a moderate rent, that's at stake. When you lie and state that you can freeze rent, you can't freeze rent in NYCHA, you can't freeze rent in Mitchell Ahmed, you can't freeze rent in market rate housing, you can't freeze rent, but you are lying and telling people you could do so. We're fighting against a snake.
Well, there you have the current mayor of New York City now endorsing Andrew Cuomo to become the next mayor of New York City because, of course, Cuomo is running behind Zoran Mamdani, and the belief is
Come on in the room. Yeah, I think the whole city of New York gonna have to come on in the room. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. in order for them to learn. That's the problem with people. That's the problem with humanity. We got to learn the hard way. Adam, dumb behind, had to learn the hard way, and Eve had to learn the hard way. People have to learn the hard damn way. Yes, sir. That's what we do as humanity. You can't learn from nobody else's mistakes. Nope. Not us. Nope. We got to go the hard route. And that's what I see. And what makes it worse than that is this. I personally feel like Zoran Mandami needs to win. I want to see Zoran Mandami win because the winning by Zoran Mandami will guarantee the full-on destruction of the Democratic Party. And I don't know, how long is he mayor? For 4 years? He'll be mayor for 4 years in New York? He'll destroy New York in 4 years. Yeah. He'll destroy New York in 4 years, and it'll take 4 years to rebuild it, but the Democratic Party will be utterly decimated. When things start going so bad under Zoran Mandami, nobody will be able to support the leftist, communist, Marxist party. When they empty out Rikers Island of hardcore criminals who've been in the worst prison ever, and they go back into the hood and they murder and they steal and they kill and they rape and they do everything possible, that's only going to be the time when everybody comes to the realization and understanding. When that happens and there's nowhere safe because there are no police, because there are social workers, then all the affluent rich communities who have been backing this stupid liberal bull crap will be the prey. And that's been the problem. It's been the affluent liberal. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll allow Zoran Mandami in because it'll never come to my area. I'll never have to worry about them. No one ever comes in my neighborhood. No one ever comes into my area and bothers me. Oh, I will sit here and drink my wine and relax my nerves. But you don't understand. Affluent liberal. Affluent rich liberal. You don't understand. This ain't the same game we've been playing. No. These criminals is different. They just busted a whole ring of a fake lawn care service that was robbing extremely rich people when they were away from home. They just pulled off an entire jacking, like from a movie, a damn heist at the Louvre where they stole a royal crown. This is not the same thing it used to be. And I think it's the rich, wealthy liberal that must learn this thing. Someone should go in there and steal their Van Goghs and all their artwork and all their jewelry and all their diamonds and all their Rolexes. So they can come to the realization that you are not separate and apart from everyone else. You are not above the average citizen. And therein lies the problem. If they would have learned the lesson quickly, we wouldn't have this, but they are the reason why New York is going to learn this lesson. They are the ones. Next thing, we're not winning, right? Everybody's all upset. We're not winning. This is not going good. Yes. Donald Trump and them about to go down there and smash the drug cartels. Smash them, and they should be smashed. Well, see, bro, you know the drug cartels bring the drugs up here, but it's the government that put the drugs in the black community. Yeah, because the CIA, in partnership with the drugs cartels that they set up, that drive the drugs into your community. So if you want to destroy it, you destroy the cartel. Man, it's going to be a drought out here in these streets. Jay, you understand? I'm going to get my dope from the cellar. Negro, go get a job. You got a personality, turn on the internet and make you some money. Get out them streets. Here's Pete Hegseth.
Our message to these foreign terrorist organizations is we will treat you like we have treated Al-Qaeda. We will find you, we will map your networks, we will hunt you down, and we will kill you. And you've seen that evidence in the maritime domain, whether it's in the Caribbean or in the Pacific with the last 2 strikes. We know exactly who these people are. We know what networks they work with, what foreign terrorist organizations they're a part of. We know where they're going, where they originated from, what they're carrying. And our message to these...
Yeah. And they've been mapping that network for a while. They started mapping that network in March, February, March, late March, early April is when we were starting to hear about them flying their AWACS or AJAX or AWACS signal capturing jets over the west coast of Peru and gathering all the signals information over the cartels, getting all their cell phone numbers and mapping their networks and doing what needs to be done. However, another reason why this is being done, another reason why this is winning, I want you to recall that they said that they put bounties out on ICE agents and ICE leadership and their families. Remember that? There's like, we got cartel bounties on them. One of them was like $7,000 or $10,000 to take out somebody. You couldn't pay me no $10,000 to take out no major head of the U.S. government. That's retarded. But there's some idiot that'll try and do it. There's some idiot that'll try and do it. And so it's war, ladies and gentlemen. And the one thing that America is good at is war. That's the thing that America is best at, is war. So yeah, they're going to go smash them. That's going to be over real quick. Now, if it was under Obama, oh no, it'll be your sons and your daughters going down there to try and fight the armies in what is this, in Venezuela for years. No, they're going to go wipe them out and it's going to be over with. And then everybody be like, oh, we won, yay. And the drugs going to dry up on the streets until they get another supplier in. Another point in which we're winning. DW ain't winning that. Guys, watch this. Here is the wonderful Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, saying, hey, you know, this thing where you harvest someone's organs and sell them for $100,000 when they're at a hospital and they don't have to be unalive, but they can live. We're going to stop you from doing that. We're going to arrest you. This is a thorough sweeping of everything evil in this nation. It's just that as you're sweeping, sometimes the stuff that you're sweeping is so heavy that the broom handle break. Or the broom handle cracks. You got to put some duct tape on it. Or you got to screw another handle on there. When you see somebody screwing another handle on the broom while they're sweeping away the crap we've been dealing with, don't get mad at them because the broom handle broke. It's the crap that's been going on. That's the problem. That's the problem. Everybody want to fuss at the broom handle. Man, the broom handle broke. Damn broom handle. No. The problem is you got 15,000 tons of manure right there that you're trying to sweep with two people sweeping with a push broom. Well, you need a fire hose and a pressure washer to wash it off. And we ain't got to the point where we got the extreme amount of pressure we need to move this pile of dung that we're dealing with. Yeah. Come on in the room. And so that what happens, they're all in our room, ladies and gentlemen. Every last one of them coming in the room. They're all coming in one by one. And that is winning. I'm sorry. It's just not winning as fast as we all want us to win. And I see it all throughout my comments. I get it. I'm with you. I get it. But I'm here to tell you, it don't go the way you want it to go because you feel like it going that way. And we can't, as content creators, be like, oh, I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump or anybody else in the next term if they don't do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Bitch, you go do it then. Yeah, you go do it. You lose all your fortune. You let somebody try and shoot you in your head. You let somebody try and take down your plane. You let somebody talk crazy about your wife. You do all this stuff and go through all that, then you go do it. If you can't do that, shut up. And do what you can do, which is something constructive. Be in the dark room with me. Put your night vision on. Pick one of the targets. Use your social media to hit the target. Play in the game on a positive side, not on a negative side. You heard me?
Organs harvested from patients that are still moving. I heard that from a congressional hearing last week. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, it's a horror story, and part of it is because of the capture of the agency that was regulating ORR. The board that was actually regulating organ harvesting was overlapping with the contractor that was actually harvesting the organs, and it was done state by state. Some of the states were just truly, it was a nightmare. And it was sickening to read these stories. I had one instance where a family was waiting at the hospital for the body of their deceased relative. The relative was brought to one of these private organ harvesting centers, awoke while they were harvesting her organs, and then was brought back to the hospital where she died eventually. But the family, brought litigation, and that's the only reason that we learned of this story. We've done a complete investigation of that company. We've taken the contract away from that company, and we're reorganizing it so that we will be regulating it and running it directly at HHS, and this will never happen again.
Organs harvested from patients.
See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? They hitting on all angles, dog. And I'm not here to cheer, rah, choo, ride Donald Trump, because there's some things that Donald Wayne did that I don't like, but I got to keep it real with you, ladies and gentlemen. They hitting on all cylinders. Vroom, vroom, vroom. It's just that we ain't got up to speed yet. We on a crotch rocket that can go 300 miles an hour, and we doing about 75. And everybody's like, open up full throttle, baby. The highway is clear, but the highway ain't clear. No. They got 18-wheelers on the roadway. They got an accident in the far right lane. They got pedestrians walking across the 4-lane highway. The roadway is not clear, baby. We have not got past the traffic, baby. Unless you just want to be a daredevil and wreck and crash. Yeah. Look, I just want you to know what's really going on. You got to have eagle eyes. You can't have turtle eyes. You got to have eagle eyes. And when you talk to somebody that's got turtle eyes and they all aggravated, just say, hey, man, you got turtle eyes. What that mean? You got turtle eyes. Your eyes real low to the ground. Need you to come up a little bit higher and see it from a strategic perspective. Everything ain't going to go the way we want it to go, how we want it to go. Because we ain't in control. And that reality is God is in control. And when you try to figure out his strategy, which I've tried, it's completely insane to try and figure it out. Because when he makes a move, when he makes one move, the chess game is over. Yeah, that's how he works. That's all I'm trying to share with you, baby. I love you. See y'all on the next video. I hope y'all having a good evening. Bye-bye. I love you. Bye-bye. I love you. See you later. Bye. Hit the like button. Bye.